welcome to Finding Your Way with Lori and Tonya. I'm Lori.
I'm Tonya.
So today we're going to talk about influence and in two different ways. How we influence others, how what we bring to the table influences how others perceive us, how they feel when they're around us. And then the other side of that, what are we allowing to influence our behaviors, our actions, and how we are.
And so I think that the first part of that is how are we showing up and influencing others, not just others, but our environment. How we're influencing our careers, the people in our lives, our situations, our path. And so the things that we do and how we're showing up and the energy we bring to the table is influencing everything around us, every single thing. And so what does that look like, and are we aware of what we're showing up and how we're producing that influence?
Yeah, so an example for me is with work. So I lead a lot of meetings, I facilitate a lot of meetings. Sometimes I feel like that's all I do is meet. I'm meeting myself coming and going. But in the past, I can remember, there have been times where you show up, it's been a hectic day, you're stressed, you don't have all the stuff you need, you're unprepared. And that energy that I then brought to those meetings created an outcome where we didn't get things accomplished that we should have. People left feeling like they had wasted their time. Some people refuse to come back to your meetings and to work with you because if you can't get your act together to be a good use of my time, why would I? And so in the not too distant past, I have changed that a little bit to be very intentional about when I prepare. I'm probably over prepared for situations I'm going into, but I do that to respect other people's time, to influence that energy of the room so that they feel like that was like the best use of their time, that we got stuff accomplished, that we are actually doing what we said we were going to do, and we're moving forward, we're moving, taking small actions. And guess what? They show back up, they give you verbal compliments like, wow, those were the best planned meetings ever. I mean, I've actually had people tell me that, like, that was so good. I haven't had that kind of meeting experience in a long time. And it doesn't just happen. Like, I was very intentional about it. I planned things out. I went ahead and thought about the outcome that I was wanting to go for and did that with intention. And I was very clear about how I wanted to influence the energy in those situations.
And I think for me, mine comes down to one that I can talk forever about is my children. We are a direct influence on the people we spend the most time with. So my three boys are influenced by me constantly, and it's hard to remember that sometimes. It's easy to forget what kind of influence we do have. And I'll tell you that prior to doing some of this work and really recognizing intentionality and influence and those types of things, you go by, you're busy, your daily routine, right? And you forget that everything you do and say, the energy you put out, they don't have a choice. It is so close to them physically and mentally. They're hearing it constantly. So I have a huge influence, and I can always tell when I'm vibing high, when I'm feeling good. My influence on them is positive, and they're making better grades. Their behavior is better. Their attitudes are better. They are getting things accomplished. They are smiling more. And it's a direct reflection of what I'm doing and how I'm feeling, because I have that ability to influence them so much in so many ways. I can also tell when I'm stuck, when I'm grumpy, when I'm not where I want to be, when I'm having a bad day or week or, let's get honest, sometimes month. Their grades aren't where they need to be. Their attitudes are awful. We are fighting and snipping at each other more. There's disrespect. And it's, again, a direct influence on my energy and the way I'm showing up for them. And it's influencing how they behave. And it's true, and I see it all the time. And sometimes I have to stop and say, wait a minute. This is me. This is my influence on them. Yeah, they've got to hold themselves accountable to some of it, but I've got to change how I'm influencing them if I want them to change.
That's right. So, and then thinking about it from the other side. So, you know, how we influence others, what energy we're bringing to things is based on what's influencing us and our behavior and our actions. So it is taking stock of that a little bit and thinking about what are you allowing to influence you. And so that can be anything from the people you're spending the most time with. I know I had somebody tell me one time, Lori, I'm just in a bad place. I hate my job. It's not fulfilling. Da, da, da. And, maybe this was tough love, but I just told the person, I said, you either have to change the circumstance or change your perception of the circumstance. And that's so true. So, if we're allowing ourselves to be repeatedly going into a situation, an environment that is not for our best good, it's influencing you, whether you think it is or not. Like that feeling you get when you're there. Work is a good example because most of us go to work, and so you're spending a lot of time in that space. And if it's negatively influencing you, then when you go to influence your children, when you get home, you're coming from a space that's probably a little bit less like you want it to be.
And that peer group. Think about the feeling when you go to dinner with a group of folks that aren't vibing high. Maybe there's a lot of gossip. There's a lot of conversation around he said, she has this, I want that, money.
Complaining.
Yes. Oh yes. My kid's teacher did so-and-so and they're awful. And when you have those kind of influences, that's what you take with you, and that's what you project to the next person that's in the car with you, that gets home with you, that's in the grocery store line when the line's long and now you're all of a sudden you're angry, right? And it's because of the influence that you just had. A good example of what me getting rid of some influences is once we really kind of started doing this work, you kind of fall into habits. So I remember growing up, my grandparents watched the news. We watched the 6 o'clock and the 6:30 news every single night. I did it when I was in college. I did it when I was recently married. I did it with the kids. And a couple of years ago when we started doing this work, I realized what a negative influence that the news is on me. You just absorb all of it. And there might be 2 minutes of that 30-minute show that has any positivity in it. And so I stopped watching the news, completely stopped. I still don't watch it unless it's on somewhere else and I can't get away from it. If it's big enough news, I'm going to hear about it. Somebody's going to talk about it. I don't need to know all the small, nasty, negative things. It's not important to me. And so when I eliminated that from my life, I eliminated a huge negative influence.
That just made me think. Yeah, it made me think about growing up. We watched soap operas, like all the soap operas. When you got home from school, you just watched all the soap operas all the way through college. And I mean, this was not too far in the past, but probably a year or so ago. I just all of a sudden, I think from doing this work and sort of radiating at a higher vibration, just didn't want to watch it anymore. And so I haven't in probably over a year. And it just sparked something when you were talking about the news of, I probably have less drama in my life because of that.
Right? Yeah.
And I had not ever even thought about it like that. Like that was like that daily infusion of just drama and chaos that I was allowing to influence me without even realizing that I was.
And I think that's key, is there are things in our lives that just seem okay. It's always been there. That if we really took a minute and thought about, there are people that if we really took a minute and thought about.
Beliefs, like you're talking about childhood, beliefs about money and that you have to work your tail off to make a little teeny bit of money. And is that really true? I mean, that's something you need to question. So there's beliefs like that we carry
because of the influence that we grew up with.
That's right. And so it is sort of recognizing what is influencing you, and then how are you allowing that to then, how are you influencing others and the space around you? And if you do the work where you get to where you're really clear on who you are and who you want to become, and you're working towards that better, you're working towards the better tomorrow than you are today. When you really get clear on that, you can start influencing the energy wherever you go and not allowing whatever you're stepping into to influence you.
Yeah. And the positive piece of that is the uplifting things that you watch, the things that you do, the
music, really good music,
yeah, I mean,
and
all the fun stuff, having a good time, enjoying
laughing.
yourself. All of those things are positive influences that when you do that, you're raising your vibration and you're walking into that line at Publix that is 50 people long and you're going, you talk to the person in front of you. The next thing you know, you're the next person in line and you're like, wow. Instead of being mad, tapping your toe and so eager because you're and angry because you're in line, it changes the way you view everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's circumstances nowadays that if I don't catch myself, I can dread going, like, I'm dreading going there. Gosh, I just know how it's going to be. But really, all I can control is the energy I'm bringing to it and how I'm influencing that energy and how I stay. Like, how do I stay centered? I can't control whatever chaos is laying on the other side of that door. And so it is just, what are those situations for you, and what do you want it to be, and work towards that. I mean, you can do it. You absolutely can change what's influencing, what you're allowing to influence you. Even like people saying things that are hurtful or what, you don't have to let that in.
That's exactly
You just
right.
don't allow it to influence you. You stay clear on your path and what you want to do and what kind of influence you want to be to others, and stay clear on that, and you can do it. Absolutely, you can do it.
You've got this. Okay, so if you got anything out of this video, if you liked it at all, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, share with your friends. Anybody you think needs to hear this, please share. Our goal and our mission by doing these videos is really to share with you guys information that took us years to find out. It's like some little hidden secret and we didn't know about. We don't want everybody to be in that same boat, so we want to get this information out to as many people as we can. If you're on Facebook, we've got this great group called the Positive Vibe Tribe. Join us there. It's a couple of thousand people daily sharing good positivity for each other. It's a great group. So join us there. Like us here. Subscribe. We hope this helps.